As has been pointed out by many, the classic 100 Thieves Rumble ban, they generally don't play it or play against it, so that's their first ban. I think we're going to keep that banned all series, and now we are ready for that first pick.
Yep, Rumble, Yone, Jace, Gnar, Vi, and Azir are going to be those bans. And we'll see where they want to go. If it is just going to be, you know, Varus and Ezreal getting traded, that feels so incredibly common. And we are seeing a lot of first pick Varus these days. I think that's probably going to be the pick, and then I'm kind of expecting it to just be Ezreal +1 over on the other side, and we'll kind of move onwards from there. Varus just feels like, I mean, Ezreal's strong, but Varus feels like it fits in so well to literally every composition. You can go on hit, you can go lethality, you can do different styles. It's really lane dominant. It has great aggressive pairings, it has poke pairings, it has kind of everything. I think that's one of the things that also makes it such a viable first pick is even though it is Varus, you're flexing it. Yeah. You actually get to flex between poke and attack speed Varus depending on what the rest of the draft dictates. So it's just the best AD carry first pick. And I also am quite happy that we've moved into the Fearless phase because that is why Varus Ezreal was so much of the trade in best of one phase. But now that they've both been locked in, we won't see them again for the rest of the series. Yep, so Renekton, the answer. I would be excited to see Shen coming out here. I do actually think Shen is pretty strong these days. We did get to see a jungle Shen yesterday. We didn't see a top lane Shen. Gwen actually got some pretty significant nerfs, and the win rate did go down quite a lot. If it is Taliyah getting locked in, then that tells me that it is going to be Gwen top for sure. I don't think that you're going to do the double AP pairing. You want to have some sort of CC, and you generally are going to be looking now for a physical damage jungler. So likely to see a mid lane response here from Keine, and then just banning out some of the physical damage jungle options here from their opponents. And we'll see exactly where Keine wants to take us. Yeah, talk a little bit about the Gwen pick here into the Renekton. Renekton, traditionally, you'd think would be one of the counters to other melee champions, but when we go back maybe 3 patches, Gwen was changed to have a different power curve, much stronger early game for a little bit of a late game trade-off, but that was overshot. Gwen started running over early games, then was still insane in team fights, in part because of her ability to just, Gwen is immune, Gwen is immune, Gwen is immune in every fight. But kind of the prediction we had on the lounge was even though Gwen's nerfs were substantial, there's so much Gwen inertia from top laners getting re-familiarized with the kit and teams being familiar with how to play around Gwen that they're still going to be picking it for a while to see if it's still there. Because yes, the win rate dropped, but it's like 50% in solo queue, and it's still a high skill cap champion. So I don't know if Gwen is dead. Definitely going to be weaker than it was on last patch, as you mentioned. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be, you know, dead or anything like that. And, you know, you can always index towards the early game to get through some of these difficult lanes. Grasp plus Inspiration Secondary with Biscuits is just so incredibly strong at actually getting you through any of those difficult laning phases. We are seeing, as expected, some of the physical damage junglers getting banned out. Zinzao going to be taken away. Would not be surprised to see even something like a Pantheon pairing banned out here as well. I think that could work quite well as some setup there for the Taliyah. And then over on the other side, 100 Thieves are targeting some of the support pairings, banning out some of those engaged champs. So Pantheon as expected. Wouldn't be surprised to see like Nautilus or Alistar here as a final ban from 100 Thieves. And then we'll see where Dignitas wants to go, but very likely will be locking in their jungler next. And I think that's why support is getting targeted here, because they're assuming that Isles is going to save 5th pick for counter pick. For sure. Naafiri's open, and it doesn't pair well for CC with Taliyah Gwen, but it still pairs as being like an OP champion. So I think that's a good pick for River. I would say Jarvan, but the Ezreal Ahri are both very good against Jarvan, so I don't think that River would take that. And with the Naafiri being up, Dig is just going to take it away. So that's now, look at this, Vi, Xin, Pantheon, Naafiri in terms of 80 junglers off the table before River can lock in. Yeah, I mean, Talon is an option. I doubt it. I do think you could still go towards Jarvan, like you mentioned earlier. There's always Jarvan. There's Lee Sin. There's still a lot of different options. Viego, I think, works as well. Sejuani, if you really wanted to. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of tank junglers, but Viego makes a lot of sense here. You do want a physical damage threat up on the top side. Varus even has a pretty big splash of magic damage in his kit. So you would be way too, I think, AP heavy. Nautilus makes sense here. You know, again, more setup there for the seismic shove from the Taliyah, and now we're just looking for a support counter pick. Is it going to be something like a Braum, a denial pick, or is it going to be more of one of those engage picks like a Rell or a Rakan to try to lock it in? I think those are kind of the two options. Do you want to play the more defensive style with the Braum, or do you want to have engage with the Rell or Rakan?
Isles plays a lot of Rell. I feel like Braum might fit better, but the Rell is locked in because they want to be able to be the people pressing the go buttons. When I look at the 100 Thieves side, very little utility, lots of damage in their top side, and then they load their utility in with the Varus Nautilus. So I think it's going to be really important for them that they have a successful bot lane. I think River, if he preferences his ganks and his priority early, should be towards that bot lane, because if they can get them out on the map, then that's going to enable the rest of their team composition to function with the setup from the Nautilus and Varus, and then everybody else bringing the damage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I also think that in these fights, the first kill is going to be so important for both sides. If resets for Viego, resets for Naafiri, resets for the Ahri, a lot of the damage is going to be that upfront burst. That is going to be flying out, and whoever gets the early kills may be running over those fights incredibly quick. Keep in mind, we heard about it in the interview there with Srtty, but stats have confirmed if Dignitas does win this series, they would be locked into playoffs. So they will be making playoffs if they win this series. That would be huge for Dignitas. Of course, the bottom two teams are not eliminated, but they have to play for that playoff spot.
Yeah, I really think that with this format, the difference between top two in a group and bottom two in a group is massive. Top two get upper bracket in playoffs, so they then get double elimination. If you're a bottom two, you're essentially immediately put into elimination before you even make the playoffs, because you'll have to crossplay the other group just to make it into the lower bracket of the playoffs.
Exactly.
It's one of the biggest differences we've ever had between like second and third in a group.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy because third place, you have to play to even get in playoffs. Then you earn it,
you're already
in the
lower bracket.
So it is a big deal to be top two in these best of three groups here. Of course, we will be rounding out that best of three group stage next week, and then we will begin the cross group play the week after to be able to decide exactly where all those seeds will be and what will be happening there for playoffs. Sniper, worth noting, is going to be playing Ignite TP. Not super uncommon, but it does mean you are much more vulnerable to the ganks. Obviously, you still have the skip and slash, but if you ever use that aggressively and Sheiden is in a bush, well, you're probably getting ran down. So that is something that they're going to have to watch out for. And FBI also going to be playing lethal tempo. Yeah,
props to River taking the early risk and getting that ward that's going to be at enemy Raptor camp. I know last week against C9 was playing an Ezreal Braum. They waited for someone to go and place that ward in the brush, got the kill. Not quite the amount of lockdown that Dig would have, so River just went out, quickly got the ward. It does spot Sheiden though, and since River is not spotted, this immediately gives River a little bit of the information upper hand.
Yep, so we will see how this game is going to start out. Both junglers expect to just kind of be full clearing. We did see a little bit of divergence from that yesterday. Obviously, with the changes on this patch, there is more of an opportunity, I think, for junglers to get a little bit more aggressive. There are less objectives that you are just kind of drawn towards. And one of the most impressive jungle games we saw was the Umtees in Zhao, where he did find a level 3 gank early and was really able to have a very big effect on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see how this bottom lane plays out as well, with River pathing away from them early, definitely pathing towards his flashless Gwen in the early stages of the game.
Srtty has no cooldowns.
Has to get his flash for the Ignite. Sniper's going to be happy with that trade because the Ignite's going to come up much faster than the flash.
Yeah, Sniper played that really well. On the previous stun that Srtty went for, Sniper actually buffered his Q, so the snip came out as he was stunned. That is going to not get interrupted, so he got that trade, and then Renekton has these long cooldowns early on, so he comes out of that. He had just got a big chunk on him, and he just goes in aggressively with the skip and slash, gets in onto him, and is able to trade that Ignite for the flash. So Srtty now in a bit of a rough spot, but
River's here, though, for the counter.
On the top lane, River is coming in, but can Sniper actually buy the time? Sniper's just going to go aggressive, and they're going to look for Sheiden. Gonna have to pop the immunity and run right back to the tower. Sniper was completely unfazed by that gank.
I mean, this is just such a big advantage for Sniper and River because, yes, the top laners met up there and they both did 3 camps to top lane, but look at the camps that were taken. Sheiden started topside and had to show topside, so he goes for a recall.
First of all, I'm handsome as hell. Second of all, I'm the best player on the team. Let's just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I like how we run that. I thought it was going to be like a comms replay
Yeah,
of their
right?
communication during the game.
I mean, it was relevant. Like, first of all, he is the best looking on the team. So, of course, River has to path up towards him to protect him when he brings
Best
Ignite
player,
against the
best
Renekton.
looking, you know, whatever. That was pretty funny. But it is the TP's already being used by both of these top laners. And again, Srtty gets kind of clapped on that trade. He did have a potion with his buy, but has already had to pop that, and now going to be in a bit of a tough spot.
And I really want to see how Sniper continues to evolve as a player, because I know he hasn't had as many solo kills as he had in previous years, and he's talked about how his coaches have tried to make him more aware of what's happening on the map as River's thinking about trying to counter jungle these Raptors. So we just got to check on this really quick before we get back to Sniper.
Yeah, River is going to be on the invade here on the Raptors. And it will be a smite fight. We'll see who gets it. Sheiden does claim the big one. Not too big of a deal, though. So
for Sniper, originally he got a bunch of solo kills, and the team was saying that... Sorry, I was expecting a different graphic. This one was talking about how he was solo killing everyone, but he doesn't have the same killer instinct that he had before. So I'm feeling like he's stuck in the top of this bell curve that you've seen before, where at first you're thinking, as a solo queue player, just fight them, right? And he's getting these kills because the opponent team is thinking, there's no way this guy fights me. He's weak side. His jungler's not here. So now he's in the middle of like, I need to know where the enemy is, not going for as many solo kills. He needs to evolve to the 150 IQ, 2018 The Shy, where he's just going for the solo kill anyway, despite being aware of all the information.
Yeah, just outplay it. But Isles is here. Q flash, as is Tomo. Sniper likely to get taken down, but he gets the first blood in a 1v3. What a monster. Sniper comes up huge for the team.
Now, did he know the bot lane was swapping up and he's going to trade anyway? I don't know. There's no way of knowing. What we do know is he's back to getting solo kills.
Yep, gets the solo bolo. He is off to a great start in this game, dominating Srtty in that 1v1. The early swap to the top side from Dignitas. That was the flash as well from Isles. He did not use the Ignite. I think they just kind of assumed it was a freebie and maybe didn't commit everything to it. Let's watch this one more time. Like, could Dignitas have killed him with the Ignite and with just like full commitment to it?
Yeah, Srtty is flashless. They get the stun from Isles. I mean,
Isles is trying to give the kill and doesn't use
he's trying to give the kill. Yep. And Sniper goes through with one more dash. That is definitely a misplay there from Dignitas.
Yeah.
Wanting to give the kill. Because Srtty was already down in this situation, and they ended up getting it to Tomo, but a big cost there for Srtty.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to give it to Tomo, but, you know, he's in the... Gwen is immune, right? Like, you couldn't actually hit him. And as a result, you don't use the Ignite. You try to give it over, costs you a kill. That one definitely hurts. You have got to be careful about those situations, but Eyla going to be able to land a hook here onto Srtty, and thankfully, the arrow does not connect to pop those blight stacks, so we'll be able to walk it out. But the wave's still in a horrible spot for him, and is going to be a tough game for the Renekton, who's already put very far behind.
Yeah, and this is all too common for Srtty this split and this year. Early on, he was set behind from lane swaps, but even here, it's a 4-minute lane swap where they're trying to hand over the kill that contributes to him being further behind, and now he's just kind of stuck under his turret on weak side as the dragon is getting taken down. Also, now that grubs aren't spawning until 8 minutes, there's not a counterplay for Sheiden to take either, so 100 Thieves is actually having their cake and eating it too.
Yeah, they're feeling really, really good about it. I mean, that 3-camp gank that Sheiden went for on the top side did kind of put him behind. He went for a base then, clears his bottom camps, but you can see, you know, River cleared as many camps or even more still at this point, and then goes to the dragon, so had a lot more tempo. Sniper just trying to defend this wave on top side, though. That is a couple waves stacked up. He's got to be able to collect this. He's not level 6, but he almost is there. They are bringing up Sheiden, though, looking for the dive.
He's at full health, which gives him a little bit more outplay potential. Still hasn't taken damage. He hit 6, though.
Yeah, this is so hard to dive, but Isles is going to position for it. They're going to look for it. There's a Shattering Strike in the Crashdown. Can they actually finish him off? No shot. Sniper just holds the cooldowns, kites back, knew that the dive could be coming, so held on to that W. Didn't even have to use the ulti. Is going to be able to soak some of this experience, but I guess they're just calling for the swap. I feel like this swap is a little bit preemptive because you're still losing so many of these minions. Like, he has an experience range, but I'm a bit surprised. You know, that's like minus at least 6, 7 minions that he could have picked up, probably no problem there.
He's going to want to catch the wave on the bot side, which is crashing anyway, so he's going to pick up. He's basically making sure the minions don't go to complete waste. I'm generally okay with it, but I see the top laner in you saying, why don't I just collect this wave, teleport bot, collect another wave? Because ultimately, if he gets 25 CS at Renekton, that's going to pay off way more later in the game.
Exactly. Like, you outscale the Renekton. It's not like you're giving it to some trash scaling
like
champion.
a top lane Nidalee.
Exactly. You're giving it to a Gwen who got a solo kill and who's already running the lane. So to me, donating all that gold, like, even if you had to use your ultimate there to collect that triple wave that was pushing in, I still feel like that's worth it. Then you base, you TP down. Yeah, you're maybe denying 6 minions from FBI, but you're getting all the experience, you're getting all the gold, and you're accelerating yourself to a point where potentially the Renekton is just going to be a non-factor in the side lane for the rest of the game.
I agree, but even just the snippet that we saw as we go back to the Gwen receiving nerfs and still getting picked, Gwen is still immune, right? Like, the things that he's able to do with the Ignite early on, pressuring Renekton in early laning phase, as we're going to see a dive now onto Srtty, try to put him farther down.
Yeah, Srtty pre-pops the ultimate, but there's the hook from Eyla. They have it set up, and Eyla is just tanking this up. There's no way out, it feels like, for Srtty. Lives as long as he can, but the Aftershock Nautilus can tank that tower for a long time.
For sure, and Tale of Two Ganks right there, right? That was a Renekton with ultimate, a 3-man dive, perfect CC chain. Renekton can't do really anything about it unless he's able to somehow flash the first CC. And Sniper now, let's see if they can dive him this time.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Sniper in some trouble now, trying to outplay this with the ulti. Isles is tanking it up. Shaiden's in trouble, but they will make it happen. 4 members come down. Keine was not needed, but they're looking for a potential redive here now onto Srtty. River was tanking this up. They've got to reset this tower and try to go for it one more time. Ayla is going to be the one to start it up now with the depth charge. Coming. There it is. The stun to follow. Gets burst down. Not a chance to survive. Ezreal cannot connect on the other side of the map. They do pull off the dive for Dig, but it costs them even more because no one's answering mid, and Quid has just been full shoving that wave.
Yeah, this is a bit of a disaster for Dignitas. They get the one successful dive on Sniper, which definitely helps, but the double death onto Srtty, and then, to me here, Keine on the Ahri, roaming down to be that 4th man in a gank that worked with 3, rather than roaming up to make the redive impossible. Big error. Because Renekton is completely out of the game now. 36 CS at 10 minutes, Azael?
Yeah, it's definitely really tough. And I mean, even if you want to take the more risk-averse play, he could have just stayed mid and farmed. Like, he didn't actually have any impact on that bot lane play. And it ends up being Quid now with the full row. He pushed in mid, denied a full wave, took a plate. So 100 Thieves making the better play happen with less resources. And yeah, that is the same level as the supports. He just hit 7 now, but Srtty is in. I mean, you were like a flash stun this game and not much more unless you can randomly clean up a bunch of kills in a team fight. Srtty is completely out of this one.
It's a roughie. Sniper at the level advantage, Quid a bigger level advantage. Both mid laners going Roa, so I mean, I'm just thinking, Srtty's going to be behind jungler level for a lot of this game. He won't be able to touch side lanes. Gwen is going to be still able to annihilate him, even though Sniper has died to that last dive, because Srtty ended up having the double death in the top lane. We're going to have to move on to other topics, because Srtty is a sad tale at this point in the game.
It is. It is a very sad tale. But positive side of that is FBI has been getting paid. Tomo in a pretty good spot, so you definitely have some hope there. The rest of the members on Dignitas honestly are in a fine spot. So bright side of it is if Srtty can kind of just hold at his tower and clear waves against the Gwen, then the 4v4 still looks completely fine for Dig. So we'll see if they can make something happen there. Dragon's going to be spawning here in about 15 seconds, and both teams are around this side of the map. You can see the resets are coming down, and they're going to send Srtty down towards Dragon because Keine has TP, so he'll walk top, which means they are potentially thinking about fighting this.
It's going to be tricky. They do not have vision control in the river. You can see 2 control wards set up by 100 Thieves. Isles moving in to stop 1, but Eyla and River just patrolling that area. Can't even finish that control ward kill.
That was the Chains of Corruption used there by FBI for really not much at all. A tiny bit of poke there onto Isles. But they are trying to maintain this vision, and we'll see if they can land some more poke onto Dignitas as they walk through. Dig trying to play through mid. Obviously not going to have any prio bot with Srtty down there, but if this 3-man squad can make something happen, you never know.
Might be able to. Isles has Flash Engage. If he's able to get onto Eyla, it would be a nice combo. They can kind of bully him out and get control. So I don't mind the jostling that Dignitas is doing right now, but Taliyah is in river. They might go for a fight.
Oh, looks for the hook. Can't actually find it. Defensive crash down there from Isles as Sheiden's able to immune that hook. And FBI getting quite low on mana, but they do get some good poke down.
Yeah, I mean, very slippery three-man unit that Dig have in the mid lane there, with everyone being able to just fly away, especially that damn Naafiri untargetable W every time Eyla tries to go for a hook. So they hold their own there, and actually because they are able to attrition down a lot of FBI's mana, Eyla goes back for more wards, and Dig actually gets what they wanted, which is a little bit of river control, and they start the Drake.
Yeah, blue orb is going to spot it, though, so 100 Thieves have the opportunity to contest. They are walking in. Quid now here does spot the health on the dragon. It's quite low, though. I think they're going to be able to finish it, but the question is, can they win the fight afterwards? River's there, not quite in time. There's the stun on Sheiden. Sheiden going to get hooked, and there's the depth charge going on Tomo. Tomo doesn't get over the wall, and now he's rooted. He does cleanse. He has no flash. He didn't shift over the wall, so he's in a bad spot now. In comes River, but it's actually FBI that finishes off the kill. They look like they want even more. River now shifting over the wall, showing Tomo how to do it. Srtty and Isles are going to get pinned down here. It's 4 members. Here they come.
Wave coming in. Isles and Srtty. Srtty, no ult. Flash a couple seconds away.
Yeah, they're going to start it up. Eyla lands the hook there. He's tanking the tower. They're going to try to turn it around. Nice crash down. The ultimates come through. Srtty is in trouble. So is Isles, but the tower's getting a lot of work done. Ooh. River is going to fall. That's 2 kills for Dignitas. And is Quid going to be able to finally finish off Srtty here? He doesn't have the right angle. Sniper wants to try to make it happen. They do finally finish it off. It's a 2 for 2, though. Well defended by Isles and Srtty. The Ezreal ultimate can't quite finish off another, but Sheiden's coming back in. Can't get in range. 100 Thieves will back off.
So it was actually a good defense of the dive, but as we bring the tab up, I'll show you the sad part of the story. It's that both kills went to Rell. Renekton got nothing out of that entire exchange. Watching this, it's nice that Dig could get the Drake, but because they burned so many of their cooldowns bursting the dragon, they had nothing left for this fight. Teleports come in on the side, don't really end up impacting anything until the dive. And as you mentioned, when Ezreal doesn't shift over the wall, it just ensures that he's going to die. Here, I thought Srtty did a nice job delaying the minions, healing up a bit with a big Q, and the fact that Rell was able to tank so much damage and had so much CC allowed them to retaliate very well. But it's just unlucky that both of these kills end up going over to Isles. It was about a 494 gold kill, that second one, that Renekton really could have used. Yeah. But it ends up going over to Isles as Rell.
You can see the sigh even there on Srtty as he goes down.
You know, those games where you're never getting kills, but you feel like you're involved. He didn't even get an assist on one of those. He's 0-4-1.
Yeah, that is really tough. Well played, though, by Isles. Did have a really well-timed Shattering Strike, on Eyla, right as he pulled aggro, and then got the 3-man crash down Magnetstorm, locks them in the tower, was able to set them up for a pretty good spot, and does have that nice injection of gold over on his side, but we'll see if they can do anything with that. Both teams now looking like they're happy to scrap here around this Herald. 100 Thieves again playing for vision. Sheiden just trying to defend their vision line as much as he can. And Eyla has been eating some poke, so is down to about 2/3 HP.
Yeah, this could be another fight if Dig try to contest it. Srtty, they're probably trying to pull him up for this fight. He really just wants to clear that wave and get that turret to me, but here's a fight.
They're going to go for it. Isles is going to be able to get over the wall. That's a Chains of Corruption used on Isles for not too much. Keine comes in. It is going to be stolen by Sheiden, but can they actually get in to grab this? Keine looks like he wants to try to force it, but he's going to have to use the ultimate to retreat back. River low, Sniper looking. Can he actually finish him off? Keine going to have to flash out. Sheiden now jumps over the wall, and it's going to be Srtty in the meanwhile pushing down on the bot side, so they only commit 4. They do deny the Herald, and they're going to get a tier 1 bot, so this is great for Dig.
Absolutely awesome sequence. Srtty's the biggest fan of this, actually getting a little bit back in the game, because Sniper was grouped that entire time, so Sniper was not getting any gold. And for as disastrous this game has been, to only be down 473 gold as they're Renekton against the Gwen, same level, massive win there. 100 Thieves not being able to secure that Rift Herald hurts them pretty substantially, but more so investing so much on Keine at the top side of that fight, as he can just dash around and flash away. With the lockdown, as we said, being pretty much just the Varus and the Nautilus, Dignitas maneuvered around that exchange really, really well.
I mean, FBI is in a great spot this game, but that's back-to-back Chains of Corruptions that he spent on the Rell for pretty much 0, right? The one prior to the Dragon fight, he threw out, maybe did 10% of his damage, 10% of his HP after it. Again, they committed it onto Isles in this fight as well, and he kind of just crashed down over the wall, didn't really take any damage, so definitely have to make sure that they are in a position to be able to follow up, and maybe he needs to be just following up on the engage from Eyla to kind of guarantee that they get more from that, because if you hit that on a key member, they are just dead, and Isles has been able to deal with it really well.
Yeah, and Azael, we're approaching the 20-minute mark. We talked about this in waiting room. 100 Thieves have big things happen around 20 minutes. There's this thing of them throwing at 20 minutes, but the other thing that you pointed out in one of our meetings was that they're actually very good against the lower half of the standings and have struggled against the higher half of the standings. Part of this, to me, my theory, is that they're just so good in team fights. They're hands checking a lot of these teams, and Dignitas is going to have to overcome that if they want to win. This is a massive discrepancy.
It is. It's crazy. And it's like you said, we were talking about it in the meeting. It's something that I've noticed where it is one of these things. You want to be a title contender? Well, you got to be this tall to ride. And 100 Thieves are the line. You have got to be able to take down 100 Thieves if you want to be able to have a chance to kind of strike up in the standings. Because like you say, they will test you. They will fight you at every single turn. And they have very good hands. They are good mechanically. So if you're not good enough, they're going to really expose your deficiencies in those team fights.
Yeah, and I would say 100 Thieves have good setup for this Drake right now. So even if the fight happens, the setup before the hands check is actually very advantageous for them.
Absolutely. Sheiden again on the side. Keine does arrive with the teleport. Are they going to be able to force it? It looks like the Dragon's already gone, so 100 Thieves can just back off. Nice true shot barrage. The charm connects on FBI. FBI's in a lot of trouble. Tomo going to be targeted as well, but Sheiden in the back line trying to take down FBI. He's going to be able to do it. Sheiden's got to run now on the other side. It's Eyla, Sniper, and River. Very low. The health bar for Sheiden is just low enough, but he can't quite get taken down. Srtty is going to be able to help the rest of his team get another kill. Now finally they take down Sheiden. It's River on the side running. Tomo's full health. Isles and Srtty going to have to call off the chase. At the end of the day, it's just a couple kills going the way of Dignitas. It's a 2-for-1, but 100 Thieves do get the Dragon.
Well, what ended up happening is the structure of 100 Thieves fell apart as FBI took a bunch of damage at the start of that fight, so they never got to set up any type of big fight line. I want to watch this one more time. The original setup is good, but that's only if Eyla or FBI are the ones starting the fight. When the fight actually starts, FBI ended up being in the front. An Ezreal W, an Ezreal ult, and an Ahri charm all land onto FBI, completely taking him out of the fight, and everyone kind of just ends up diving past 100 Thieves. So a spectacular start to this fight. It doesn't really matter to me that Sheiden fell during this, because from a deficit, being able to win that fight is huge. Hopefully you're able to hear that as Tomo and FBI are back in the mid lane, and the game is kind of reset. Also, if we want to throw that that graphic we just showed about higher and lower in the standings, technically, my producer mentioned this to me, technically, Dig is higher in the standings right now.
There you go. So it's
so I don't know. Maybe actually
they can improve that record.
Pull it out.
There's expectation and there's reality.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sometimes two different things. We'll see how they're going to be able to make it happen. You know, Sheiden definitely a good job following up on all that damage, but you know, we see how much upfront burst there can be. You know, Tomo and Keine, like you said, really softened FBI up, and then Sheiden just flash ulted him. You know, get in, finish him off. And that is most of their consistent damage at this point. 100 Thieves is still in a pretty good spot because they took that Dragon, you know, working towards a potential Infernal Soul here. Would be looking for that third Dragon here in just under 3 minutes. But Dignitas, definitely pretty strong, you know, if you're just kind of squinting and ignoring the top side. 2 items across the board, you know, for Sheiden, Keine, and Tomo at this point.
Yeah, and something that Srtty had talked to me about in his interview last week when they beat Shopify is that even though when they've had leads, they've had a difficult time closing games, something they've actually been pretty good at is prolonging losing situations. So they've been a very tough team to break. And that can definitely be a strength for a team, and I think they're showing it here, because at the start of this game, with how much the Renekton was suffering in the top lane and how the first Dragon just went free over to 100 Thieves, there's definitely games where that just snowballs out of control. Gwen can take over the side lanes. You can start losing your outer turrets. You lose safety. You're getting dove at every avenue. But they've done a really good job slowing the objective stack from 100 Thieves. It's just 2 Drakes to 1. They denied the Rift Herald. The turrets are even. They've really found a good way to stay in this game and give themselves a chance to win.
Yeah, it is interesting because 100 Thieves have kind of elected to say, all right, Sniper, you're strong, come to us in team fight, instead of saying, all right, Sniper, you're strong, go just pound this Renekton into dust, right?
Yes.
And so they have spent a lot of time with him grouped. He does still have that gold lead, now completes the second item with the Nashor's Tooth, and they have 3 grubs. So if he wants to play through that side lane, it is going to be difficult, I think, for the Renekton. But the other side of that is, well, it's hard to split push deep when you don't see where Naafiri is, because the engage range is so long for Naafiri, and they have easy setup, you know, for either the Naafiri or the Ahri if they move to you. So 100 Thieves, I think, so far have just been pretty happy to say, you know what, you're strong, come team fight, and we'll try to win the game that way. And it does look like, again, in 1 minute, Dragon spawning, so both teams already here early, trying to play for vision, and we've seen so much play around these mid lane side brushes, both teams just poking and fighting and trying to clear out wards.
Thinking about a snap engage. Sniper just made his way up to the top side, but the team
Flash is going to be a hook onto Tomo. Great buffer. There's the Chains of Corruptions connecting on Tomo, so Tomo maybe not out of trouble just yet. Eyla's going to turn around with the Magnet Storm on a Quid. Quid could be the target now. The Charm does connect, and he's going to be shut down there by Tomo. The teleport's coming in now. Gwen will arrive, and what can Sniper get done? He doesn't connect. He's going to get stunned up, but he's going to get burst down. Sniper is gone to Srtty. River is on the run. Dignitas is running over the fight. The Charm connects on FBI. He charms. He flashes, but it's in Srtty trying to get another kill. The Locket is not going to be enough as Sheiden gets in for a double. Eyla is likely to fall as well. It's going to be a clean ace for Dignitas out of nowhere.
Here they come. Sheiden resets out this entire fight. This is going to be Otacon going over to Dignitas as well, and that was just decisiveness. Looking at the way they started this, they see Sniper on the top wave. They know he won't be there in a while, and Quid is in the river, so they just completely pile onto him. And once they've started the fight, there is no turning back. 100 Thieves then continues to all in as Sniper teleports in late, but by the time he teleports in, his team has already burned all their important cooldowns. They can't back him up, and it just leads to a total rout by Dignitas.
Yeah, really well played by Dig. Again, you know, they get that kill on the Quid, as you say. You know, ulti comes in, and just the call of the pack doing so much work every single time. It feels like he's immuning a big CC there. Sheiden this time, you know, immunes the hook. FBI, again, already spent the ult really before the fight broke out. He used it on the Ezreal mid. Again, wasn't even able to get his Q on him after he hit the ult, so didn't really get much poke down on Tomo. And they just don't really have the lockdown as a result, with Nautilus hook getting immuned and with that Varus ult being on cooldown and Quid being dead.
The biggest thing to me in that fight, though, is just 100 Thieves not being on the same page. We have been back and forth about this Gwen and how Gwen could take over the game in a side lane. But both parties have to be aligned with that goal. Sniper had walked up to the top wave. He had just arrived at the wave. It was a clear 4v5, and 100 Thieves is just putting themselves in engage range a minute before the dragon spawns. Let Sniper get to the turret, then think about stepping up when he can teleport in a good situation. But to make matters worse, after the fight started, rather than taking the advantage that Sniper had spent so much time, he throws it away, gives up yet another kill. It's one of those things when we're talking about the most solo queue team, that's the bad part of it. What just happened there, taking 4v5s when your top laner's trying to set up split push and throwing away your advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Quid with no flash, kind of wandering through the river. He was in a really dangerous spot and gets punished massively. So 100 Thieves now going to have to do some work if they want to try to claw their way back. Their dragon advantage is now gone. It is 2-2 here. They are down 2,000 gold at this point. You know, it is not a monumental deficit, and we've seen them come back from quite a few games against some of these lower ranked teams. But Dignitas definitely in a great spot, especially with how well the early game was going for 100 Thieves. Dignitas has got to be ecstatic with their positioning. And look at Keine now, level 16, hiding in the brush there. They could look for a pick here. They definitely have the damage if a fight starts off well.
Yeah, Eyla's going to be playing with a lot of confidence. It'll be even more when his Hex Flash turns back into Flash, because if you're looking at Viego, Gwen, Taliyah, Varus, all these people are one-shottable. I mean, heck, even the Nautilus right now, level 8. Level 8 at 26 minutes into the game, very easy to burst down with all of the point of attack damage that Dignitas has.
And I mean, you can see the experience is looking really good for Dig now. They got Otacon, so they get the injection of experience there. They also have the Thornbound Otacon proc in these kills. They have reset champs. You get 1 kill now. The slows are procking. Naafiri and Ahri are piling in. That can be really difficult to deal with. So definitely the gold lead, even more than it's showing because of all the adaptive force that has also been grabbed up. Looks like 31 flowers, if I'm seeing that right. So quite a bit of additional AD and AP, plus all the experience that they did grab.
Yeah, so for Tomo, that's going to be 27 adaptive force.
It's like 3 longswords.
Yeah.
Or basically a pickaxe, right? It's pretty damn good. That's a lot of AD.
Yeah, the extra stats that 100 Thieves has is because they got the feats of strength, so they have the slightly better boots. You can see the Sorcerer shoes have been upgraded by Quid.
Oh, Keine looking with the charm, can't connect onto Quid, but Quid is still kind of getting chunked down here. Lucky that charm did not connect. Eyla coming in now, but everyone is already here for Dignitas. The TP going to be in the back line there for Sniper. Can they get the kill? There's the immunity used for Sheiden, and Shaiden's just going to get chopped in half. There's the reset now coming in for the Viego. FBI on the other side fighting against Isles. It's going to be Srtty in the back line trying to finish off Quid, but Quid is low health, and Quid is running for his life. The flash, the charm, River saves his teammate. 100 Thieves, they fight themselves into a deficit, and they fight themselves back out.
That's 100 Thieves Gaming, Azael. They just fight their way out of holes. Quid using his items to the utmost advantage. Rod of Age's tankiness, Seraph's tankiness, so he steps in, can absorb so much damage, and that in itself is kind of the engage. He draws them in as the teleport flies in over the top, so Gwen ends up being the first one to the fight, creating a temporary 5v4. You can see Quid only burned through about half of his health at the early stage in this fight. Sheiden cannot reset because Sniper and River take him down first. And then FBI ends up being able to just free hit Isles on the backside of the fight. That was a 5-4-0 ace.
Yep, and that first kill, I mean, the call of the pack got used early. Sniper was on the flank. That was perfect timing.
My hook in 4.
Oh, nice. Push top
Okay,
and then
I
go.
guess
Get
random fight to win the game.
Yeah, good job. Well, really.
The 100 Thieves Classic.
Random fights to win the game.
Random
Also,
fights
random
to lose
fights
the
to
game.
lose the game, because that was
Exactly.
what happened at the Dragon. It seemed like a random fight in a 4v5. This time, they're the ones. That was a little less random because they actually had the numbers advantage because they were the first to TP, so I'll take that level of random fight. Thank you very much, FBI. He's also completed his Terminus, which is a big power spec, I feel like, for these on-hit Varus. And let's see what they can do with this Baron buff.
Yeah, I mean, River really was a monster in that fight, too. I mean, they got the early kill on Sheiden. He takes over the Naafiri, gets a lot of damage done with that. And it's always flashy to see, you know, he gets the second kill on the Ahri and then flashes over the wall, gets the charm on Srtty to save his mid laner and be able to get that, too. And now they are cleaning up the towers, as the Baron buff will often let you do. Keine down here in this bottom lane, excuse me, in the top lane, trying to push for this tier 2 and is trying to get some gold back, but Quid will easily defend that and clear out the wave.
Yeah, we have the third Drake being taken by 100 Thieves. It puts them on Soul Point. I still feel like we're in for one of those slightly longer games. Dignitas average game time about 37.5 minutes. It's the second longest in the league. 100 Thieves right in the middle of the pack at about 33 minutes. Because I feel like their games are so explosive for 100 Thieves. You see so many kills, you have a lot of gold. It's hard for it to go to 38 minutes, but Dignitas, we can't count them out, even though this has been a very swingy game. They're at a big deficit. They swung it back. It actually just swung back even harder because now they're down 5,000 gold, but they just need to find that one fight where 100 Thieves is being a little bit too disrespectful.
Yeah, if you can get one good pick to start off the fight, get 100-0 play, you have an opportunity, but that is, of course, hard. Charm is going to be a little bit of damage down on Quid, but there's a Seekers now on Quid. There's a Shield Bow now on River.
Yeah.
You know, there's the Locket that's been available for a long time, and there's now the hook onto Isles. It won't mean too much, but when the luxury items start coming through, it always gets a lot harder to actually get those kills. So it feels like it's almost got to be FBI, but he also has Cleanse Flash, and Terminus does make you a little bit tankier with that passive.
And the experience catch-up from these late-game teamfights for under-leveled supports is incredible. Ayla was level 8 like the last time I looked, and now he's level 11, same level as Isles. The 2-level disadvantage was completely made up for in that last teamfight and this last sequence of taking down turrets. So still, you saw there, Tomo, really powerful poke onto River, able to force a reset just by holding that mid-lane turret and landing a few Ezreal Qs. So a little bit of League of Legends to be played, but I will definitely agree with you. Quid's items especially are getting quite potent at this stage, and he's going to be even harder to take down.
And FBI now, he's getting to the point where he's going to build towards Jack Show. So when you have Terminus, then you get the Jack Show, you have your tabbies, you start to get really difficult to burst down on the Varus as well. So this is the point of the game where it does get a lot harder to find picks. You kind of have to be able to go toe-to-toe, have the same level of firepower, and they are very far down right now. Sheiden should be able to hop out to safety, but Quid is over the wall on the wrong side. Could they actually find him?
No
Charm
flash.
Can they burst him down?
Quid.
The Seekers is available, but he's going to get stunned. He's going to get killed. Jumps up on the wrong side of town and gets let know about that right by Dignitas. Gonna knock him down in a hurry. And you can see the reaction on the player cam. Look at his face. He knows he just messed up big time.
He knows that was not it. That was not what you're supposed to do, especially with no flash. Luckily, I think it's just going to stall their siege a little bit. We were kind of in a dead point in the game anyway, because no Baron, no Dragon, no Baron buff alive, but it does allow Dig to reestablish this large amount of control.
And the question is, can they go for more, right? Because now you're in a 5v4 for 20 seconds. Ooh. If 100 Thieves overextend and you get more kills, you never know. This CC chain was really, really nice, though. Charm Flash, right as it's about to expire, they get the stun. They don't let him have a chance to get into that Zonius.
I mean, in Quid's defense...
Look at his reaction.
In Quid's defense, that was a big jump.
Yeah.
It was one of those where the Taliyah wall... He would think, based on where he put the wall, that jumping off to the right is going to keep him on one side of the Wolves, but because it would have landed him just past the middle point of the wall, it bounced him to the other side of the wall.
You know?
Oh,
he can jump further.
Yeah, the foam is fresh.
Yeah.
So it just gives him that little boost.
Exactly.
The illegal running shoes that improve your mile time.
He's got the new LeBrons, you know?
Lucas shoes?
Yeah, there you go.
We're done with this.
All right. Well, 100 Thieves now still in a significant lead. They are on soul point, 120 until that fight. But of course, the Baron got them a lot less than they would have hoped after that pick onto Quid. They still did clear out all the outers and are feeling pretty good about their position in this game. But we'll see if they can get a good setup on this. Dignitas are 5 stacked here. They're going to look, and the charm does connect. And it's going to be an insta-kill onto Eyla. Quid now in a lot of trouble again. He's going to get stunned up. Can he even get the stasis off? He does. As Sheiden goes in, call the pack to be popped. River gets a kill back. And now he's going to be in the Crocodile, and he's going to be looking to take over, but he's charmed up as well. These charms are just hitting and hitting and hitting. Can they get more? River and Quid on fumes. FBI low as well. They want to try to chase here. It's Tomo going forward, looking for more. Can't connect with the Mystic Shot. This should earn them the Dragon, but it won't be anything more than that.
Eyla coming up in 16 seconds. There's a chance we still end up seeing a contested Drake as well, but I've cracked the code of how Dig finds fights. When Sniper on bot wave, 100 Thieves will act like he's with them. He's not. So they just fight. So Ayla's moving up for vision when they do not have the people in case there's a 5v5 fight. Dig has all 5 people there. They get the original engage. But then it's just the hands that keep 100 Thieves in this fight. River's able to trade back a kill, pushes them back a little bit, takes a bunch of damage, flies out without dying, ends up making it a 1-for-1 as they reset, and...
Oh, we're back to live.
We're going to be back.
Taking some damage here. They're looking at Baron. They're saying, you know what, you're going to be down on the bot side. We're just going to start this up. It is spotted immediately, though. Srtty has his teleport available. Kaine's on the other side. He has his teleport, and it's going to be used right now. And we're going to see Srtty just continuing to run. They're going to try to knock them off with the Weaver's Wall. They're still hitting this. This is incredibly risky, and River's now down to half HP. I don't think they can actually commit to this. They might lose the fight even if they get the smite, but they're going to go for it anyway, and the target is River. The Baron's incredibly low, but it's not about the Baron. Quid's in trouble. Sniper on the side trying to get something done, but it's going to be Keine that's being focused. FBI kiting, FBI killing, FBI taking over. It's a triple. Can he get more? He's looking for the quadra, but Sheiden's going to get over the wall with Keine. They will be able to get out. They will be able to grab the Baron, but it is a bloody affair. It cost them 3 kills.
What an exchange that was. 100 Thieves just decide to risk it all on that Baron fight, and now they're actually moving down towards the Drake with River still dead and Sheiden with Flash and Smite coming up in a few seconds. Level 17, he's going to try and pull something off here. Keine, it's a 1v2 though.
Yeah, this could be tough.
He has Smite. He's just going to try and steal it.
I mean, if he goes in...
They're trying to bait him in.
They really want the soul, but they have to turn for the play. Sniper's here now as well. I just don't really think he's going to find an angle unless he wants to sacrifice his life for it. But in the meantime, he's drawn this pressure, and Kaine's pushing top lane. He's going to jump in. The Dragon's still too high, so he's going to have to flash back out. Can he get back over? Doesn't quite get in range. Tries to go for it. Is going to give his life. The soul is claimed by 100 Thieves. That was some risky stuff. Keine does cancel his recall, hits the charm, so should be able to ult out to safety here. Does still have that Baron-empowered recall, will be okay. I don't even know if it was really worth risking it for Sheiden. It feels like such a low percentage play, but I guess he just felt like if we give soul, we're screwed, so just tried to force it.
This game is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I
mean, the fact that they just decide to full flip this, they burn the Taliyah wall, it doesn't actually stop them from approaching, and then River is at 60% health before this fight happens. The big thing, though, is no one can really get on top of FBI here. They peel Kaine's Ahri extremely well over on the left, and FBI ends up free hitting, but because the Baron was already started and Dignitas approached from beyond the pit, the Baron never reset. So Naafiri can just take it on the back end of the fight, which gives you good and bad things. This is exactly how I was feeling.
No. Just kidding.
I mean, who needs words when you have sounds
Yeah.
for River? And then, to your point, Sheiden at the end trying to deny the soul. He was really close to being able to deny that soul. He was maybe, I don't know, like barely out of smite range by a couple units. I saw it at 600, and the smite would have been able to take it. It ends up costing them their second to last Baron buff. I think Keine should still have his Baron buff, but now without soul, team fights are going to be even harder.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough, and Sheiden did spend his flash as well in that exchange, but a lot of item completions have come through. You can see Death Cap now done for Keine, and he is working towards that Void Staff, and does already have some of the Magic Pen bought up, but now the kind of bad news for them is that a lot of these luxury items are now all completed. Now, Sniper has a full Zonia's since we last checked in. The Jack Show is fully completed for FBI. The Seekers has been upgraded to a Zonia's for Quid. So who do you target? You know, it gets really, really tough. And there's a QSS now on top for FBI. So he has Cleanse, he has QSS, he has Locket, he has Night's Vow, he has Jack Shows. It is really, really tough. They have got to have a perfect CC chain, but we've seen them do it a few times. We've seen them get those 100-0 kills, and they're going to have to depend on that.
I mean, how many CCs do they need to chain? They're going through Cleanse QSS and a tank Varus. I mean, this is where on-hit Varus, to me, really takes over the game. He's 184 armor, 125 MR. With
that's probably without
nearly
Terminus
3,000
stacks.
health without Terminus stacks or Jack Show stacks.
Yep.
Like, it's really insane, especially because he's just pumping massive amounts of damage when you have those 3 on-hit items. It's Thanos at this point, especially since Dignitas is trying to burst. Like, in order to kill him, they almost need to not be in a team fight. Like, it needs to be a pure pick, and they need to be able to hit him for a lot amount of time. But at the same time, we have competing buffs in this game. Otacon is on the side of Dignitas. They have 35 flower stacks. They have the exploding slow and 15% current health damage of the Otacon buff. So we do have some competing power. And on top of this, Azael, like, does it really matter when it's a 4v5? Because every fight is actually just a 4v5 in this game.
Yeah, you never know, man. Positioning is definitely going to mean a lot more than gold in these fights. And, you know, Cleanse, QSS, Zonias, all these things can mean a lot, but there is a ton of CC over on the other side. And if they can connect with everything, you never know what could happen.
You believe in yourself. Like, it's all just numbers.
Exactly. 50% chance to win every game, win or lose.
Yep, every fight as well. Okay, one thing I'll say is I do like that the fact that they've finally upgraded their boots. I would have wanted Eyla to upgrade his Merc Treads before building the Kindle Gem, just because I feel like the stat efficiency is higher on that upgrade, and it is doubtful to me that he's going to be able to turn that Kindle Gem into a full item.
Yeah.
So I'd rather he just get the boot upgrade first, but I think that will come in time if my math is correct.
But it is a Dignitas game, so maybe it's going 50 minutes, and he's going to get the item completion, it's going to pay off.
Maybe. Did anyone take Gathering Storm? That would be the real question. That's the next level for Dignitas. They need to embrace
Quid
that they're the hardest possible team to actually close out. And none of Dignitas have Gathering Storm, and Quid has Scorch. So no one's bought into the Dignitas meta yet.
It's unfortunate.
But after this game, they might. Because in terms of longest games, the 3 longest games of the split were Dignitas Shopify games. And I'm trying to remember our graphics. I'm trying to remember our graphics from last week, but I think in 2 minutes, this will become one of those top 3 or 4 as well. So it is actually a Dignitas special. It used to be Baron
stats
throws.
That matter.
Now it's long games.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about the standings. It's about the amount of minutes of League of Legends you've played on the LTA stage. And Dignitas are running the league.
They are. It's about practice. They play the most solo queue. They spend the most hours, and they spend the most minutes on stage.
Exactly. They're really just, it's optimizing.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Baron has now spawned. We're looking at Elder in 55, and so it's going to come down to fights around these objectives. If it is not a close fight, it is going to be the end of the game. But of course, close fights can still extend the game here. These objectives also just go down so fast this late, and someone's got to answer Sniper.
And the thing that Thieves hasn't been able to do is...
they're going to look for it here. Eyles is caught. He's going to get burst down. I think he flashes, but he can't get anywhere. FBI is dominating. Keine TP's in, and now that means no one's answering Sniper. He didn't even have to join, so they're going to have to run back and try to stop Sniper. But this means 100 Thieves will take the Baron. That pick on Eyles was massive.
Yeah, and Sniper just running for the hills now as Dignitas.
He's trying to TP. Is he going to be able to stop him? He didn't have the Hallowed Mist up. He's going to get charmed, and he's likely to get burst down. A 1K shutdown there for Keine. Gets something back. Had Sniper popped the W, if he had it and he WTP'd, I think he would have been okay.
I think you're right. It could have blocked the charm, but now There's no sniper
4v4.
for the Elder fight.
Yeah.
If Dignitas can find their way in.
Oh, but Quid is looking now for Srtty. Srtty is very sectioned off for his team, but is able to stay out of range. But it's Dignitas
They're
who are
just
first
hitting it.
onto the Elder. They're just on
do
it.
it. Just
And they're going to
flip
be
it.
looking for the fight here. River's chunked down a little bit. Srtty has a really good flank angle, but we'll see if they can actually make it happen. Remember, Keine has no ultimate. Neither does Tomo. This is going to be tough for Keine. Fishes with a charm, but he's getting chunked out. Varus steps forward, is able to poke off the spell shield there, and Srtty is being zoned off right now by Eyla. The dragon is going to leash, but Isles is almost here. Now it's a 5v4. Dominance popped by Srtty. They're going to look for the engage. Flash, stun. Quid's in trouble. Can they follow up? In goes Sheiden into the back line, trying to finish him off, but it's going to be River taking down Srtty, and the Crocodile is on the other team. FBI stepping forward. Lethal tempo stack, trying to make it happen. He flashes. He tries to go for the outplay, but he can't do it. He's taken down, and it's Dignitas again who come out on top in the fight.
They're clutching it out. They're keeping the game going. They're back on the Elder. 18,000 health. I don't know if this is done, Azael. Sniper level 18 might fly over the wall and arrive with River to fight this.
He's going in. He still has the Howl Miss. He's getting the stacks. He's going to look with the ulti. Can he actually chase down Sheiden? Keine flashes. He tries to look for the charm, but he can't make it happen. Sheiden goes over the wall. Tomo tries to, but he's dead as he arrives on the other side. The fights just keep on coming, and 100 Thieves get the kills, but they're saying, you know what? Sheiden might just come back. We can't actually start it up.
Slow.
He's going to base. They will be able to claim the Elder, but 100 Thieves were taking no chances after this wild game.
Yeah, so as we were saying, 100 Thieves is really good against teams below them in the standings, and this is just a standard 100 Thieves experience. So, 100 Thieves, this fight, Srtty has great position, probably burns his flash a little earlier than he has to, but they still get what they need to get. They burst Quid so well as they finish him off post-stopwatch, and then Sheiden, I'd say, sticking around the back of the fight, finally getting a little bit of free hit onto FBI. Seems like it's going to be enough to win this fight, but the whole reason this fight was advantageous in the first place is because of the pick on Sniper. But then when he returns, he's still a level 18 full item Gwen. You just have to run. You cannot stand there and let him snip you down. So 100 Thieves get away with another one.
I mean, it looked to me like Keine tried to flash into the mist and get the charm, but it didn't land. And I don't know if he was just on the edge of it or, like, I don't know exactly what happened. I couldn't quite see. But it looked like that was the call from him, is that he tried to go in that 3v1 situation or 3v2 situation, try to flash inside, get the charm, and then we're just going to 100-0 in play. They couldn't make it happen. These are the longest games in the LTA. Of course, it is not updated for this current game, but we're actively at the second longest game. We'll see how much longer it is going to keep going. Remember, Elder has been claimed by 100 Thieves, and they're going to have that for a while here. And they are on the push. It's going to be all up to Dignitas to try to defend. There's not Baron buffs, though, so it is just going to be possible to wave clear this out, and that's really all Dignitas have to do. The Taliyah Weaver's Wall is going to get thrown down, though, and they are going to be able to step up and claim this first inhibitor tower. Meanwhile, though, Dignitas will clear out the mid wave. Eyla's going to be looking here. They have to give up one inhibitor, but if they can hold on to the second, it's really not that big of a deal this late in the game. Doesn't look like they'll be able to do that, though, as that tower just gets melted through by Sniper, who has the death cap complete, and 100 Thieves are trying to posture for a potential end of the game.
They're going to run out of minions very soon, so Sniper's going back to grab that minion. If they just get another hook, though.
Well, the hook connects, but Eyla flashed out to safety there. He was worried about a charm coming back, so he had to actually flash after landing the hook. Definitely going to make you a bit nervous there, but they are now onto the towers, and it's going to be a fight that has to be forced. Those towers just cannot stand up. Keine is getting chunked down already. That's, oh my god, that Gwen ulti. But look at the crash down from Isles. Everybody, they're all going to have to pile in from Dignitas. Can they win the fight? Sniper's low in the back line. Keine looking for the charm. He can't hit it, and 100 Thieves are crushing the dreams of Dignitas on the steps of the fountain. It's a double for River. He'll fall, but Quid and the rest of the team have more than enough to get the job done. The charm is going to be cleansed. The Nexus is going to be taken. It's an absolute banger. Back and forth, bloody match. 27 kills at the end of the day. 100 Thieves take game one.
We are blessed. A 47-kill, 46-minute game to kick off the day. That is absolutely incredible. I also checked. It was still decided by pixels. The charm you're talking about to save the Elder, Keine flashed past Sniper through the charm over his head, and then Sniper's able to one-shot the rest of their team, which ultimately is the final fight that decided it. There were so many back and forth fights. There were if you include the Elder, 7 Drakes taken, multiple Barons. What a game one.
That was crazy. And don't forget, week 6 is Spirit Blossom Theme Days. We are celebrating the launch of Season 2 all weekend. And tickets are still available for Sunday, May 11th. Enjoy music, festival food, LTA team activations, free Spirit Blossom, Yasuo, and Yone skins, and more. Click on that QR code to join the party. We'll see you there next weekend. But before that, we're going to head on over to the LTA Lounge to break that one down.